So the way I started acting was a proposition between my mother and I, okay? She wanted me to audition for this art school in Miami, which I did not want to go to, and I asked her if I could have a bunny rabbit if I got in, because she had to audition. So I got in, and I did not get the bunny rabbit, but I found the passion of my life.
Where is the tax money going? Tell me, where did you get money for that fine agba that you are wearing? I am not paying any more than this until I see where the money is going.
The introduction to self-expression opened up a whole new understanding of who I was as a human being that I don't think I ever would have gotten if I never would have taken that trip to some sort of self-expression. When I got to college, there was sort of a maturation of the introduction. I understood it beyond, what it did for me. Then I started to understand its importance and what it does for others.
The cub asked the lioness how she will manage. Don't mind Mama Bayo. I will be fine. This has been my dream.
In a society that measures sometimes artistry by stardom and people not really understanding why it is you would choose something like this if you're not going to be the star, it's really surprising that an organization would say our sole purpose is to say, you're an artist and we want to create an opportunity for you to continue to create. When I have seen artists express their distinct beauty with complete accuracy, it affirms that there is beauty in me, and I want to express it with acute accurateness. I know that's redundant, but that's the only way.
I started playing the piano at about 3 years old. My parents tell me I was 2 or 3, and I started playing by ear. My mom was an elementary school music teacher, and she taught sort of beginning piano lessons. And I would have the tunes that she was teaching in my ear, and then I'd go try to copy them. And I started studying sort of late for a kid. I think I was 11 or 12 when I had my first lessons. I was reading music at the time and playing a lot. I decided that I wanted to major in music in college, but I wasn't really sure that I wanted it to be my life. I actually remember the exact moment when I was between my junior and senior years in college, and I went to Ravinia. Actually, I was out here in Chicago studying for the summer, and I heard Vladimir Feltzman playing a Beethoven piano concerto. And there's something about that moment, about the concert, about making music your life, that really, something in me turned. A lot of people think of classical music concerts as only being the traditional repertoire. And one of the things that I'd like to do is make it more normal for one to go to a concert and expect to hear living composers. I've gotten to the point in my career where I really can do that, and I'm not sort of struggling for every gig anymore. On the other hand, it's difficult to make a living this way. For performers, it's a little harder. What we're doing isn't always considered creative because we're playing other people's music. Yet, how we're compensated for the kinds of performances we give would almost never be enough for one to support oneself on. There are a handful of performers that I've heard that I felt really, they almost channeled something. Something was coming through them that wasn't just the result of hours of practice or the result of, playing a certain piece on the stage, but that was really otherworldly. I think for a lot of artists, it's this endless pursuit of that, and It doesn't happen all that often. When it happens, it's sort of rare and beautiful. The idea of communication in this way is what inspires me.
My work is about the interaction of people. I think there's something that is left behind from working in the communities, in smaller communities, and seeing this different reality that existed outside of, the artist's reality. I got really inspired by, participating in public art, and it wasn't the act of making public art. It was the fact that I was outside of the normal, art practice, that I was in the neighborhood. People can become part of a sculpture the same way that people become part of, like, the Picasso, for instance. It becomes kind of like a landmark, or it becomes kind of like a site that you can go visit, and that's what my work, begins. And then my work is about architecture, it's about, collage, it's about making objects that are larger than life. The Speaker project is, it's the largest piece that I've ever created in sculptural form. 16 feet wide, 10 feet tall, and 25 feet in length. But the piece was really about interaction and gathering and coming together and having this place where you can come and experience a different relationship to an object. They blended multiple disciplines of art into one object. A place that is so iconic as a speaker, because it really does look like a giant speaker. But at the same time, having that be an object that you can listen through, kind of like a vehicle for experiencing sound, and at the same time, a place where you can come and play music, or give a lecture, whatever it is. I think there's a way of being that it creates a community. And I think it's a way to experience something that creates a community.
Conducting is not just about me. It's about what we achieve as a group of people, what we are able to then produce together. Because as a conductor, you're just standing on stage waving your arms around and pretty much giving a beat pattern. But what is it that we are collectively doing? What can I inspire? What are they inspiring in me? What is it that we are creating, this sonorous sound? I mean, it's really incredible. And we as a collective group of people are putting ourselves, our emotions, our energy, our passion into creating something greater than ourselves. I started violin at 3, piano at 4, and simultaneously sang. And then I started to conduct at age 15. Currently, I am the artistic director of the Chicago Children's Choir. Chicago Children's Choir was founded in 1956 by a gentleman named Reverend Christopher Moore as a peaceful combat to the racism that was going on during that time. He wanted to bring children of different backgrounds together to create a better world through music. I feel very fortunate to lead a very varied and rich musical life. And I feel that my passion and the reason why I was put on this earth is to share the previous generation's music with the future generation. My father was from North Korea. He was born in North Korea. My mother was from South Korea. My father was born in 1918. He fled before the war, and I think he left on his own accord. I still have brother and sisters in North Korea. Obviously, they're much, much older, and I don't even know if they're still alive. But before my parents' passing, their dream was always for me to one day reunite the North and South through music. And my dream is to one day have this concert reuniting the North and South, perhaps on the DMZ with the United States, connecting all of us together. As an artist, I
think that access to your own imagination and a belief in a way in your own imagination is absolutely central, because in the end, even if you have a good circle of support, your inner resources are what lead you to develop it and to know how to live in it once it exists. I mean, I've been making art since I was a kid. I just never had the sense to stop. For me, when an image is working, there's a kind of internal logic where everything feeds into the idea and everything in it makes it a little bit stronger. I can tell kind of when I've gotten somewhere that's holding as a cohesive narrative structure. In '97, I met a group of people here in Chicago, very briefly put together a group called the Disabled Artists Coalition. It gave me a very different relationship to disability than the one I'd had, which was very much about hiding and shame. I did portraits of a number of those people I met at the Artists Coalition, and then people I met around the country as I got more adventurous. And they were portraits of people who had a significant disability, dealt with disability in their own work, who were out about being disabled, and in some mysterious way I would sort of become enamored of something about them and their work. There's a kind of creativity in the way one structures a life that I find really, really attractive. And one of the things I love about disability is that if one has a profound disability, you can't go about almost anything the way that other people do. You have to reimagine everything. And when I'm around people who are capable of that, it just knocks me out.
I don't write anymore, I talk here. My nurse types later. Name? The patient's name is Mary Thekla Lomnicki. Nickname Tiki. Period. End of paragraph.
Storytelling is a really big part of my acting and of my writing and of my entire work, because I feel that there's power in the personal story. So I really consider myself a solo performer.
Profession? The patient is an advertising copywriter. Period. And what? You write plays too? Do you write comedy or tragedy? The patient writes comedy. Period. End of paragraph.
I really have to juggle a lot in my life in order to make time for my writing. What I have to do is be really disciplined in order to have time to write. Once my work is done with all the advertising words, you know, polyester pants with a easy-wearing bandroll waistband kind of thing, and I'll put on some wonderful music. It could even be 1 o'clock in the morning. Put on some wonderful music, and that's my time to just write. I realized that acting was a passion for me when I got into high school. And I met the most wonderful director. He really believed in me. He didn't care that I had a disability. He cast me in plays. And this was in the 70s, when kids with disabilities weren't doing that kind of thing. I'm so grateful to him for that, because I caught the theater bug big time.
And the next day, the day after that, and the one after that, I came up here in the daylight.
What I hope to convey to people through my work, through my acting, is to let people know that we are really all alike. I might have a disability, and yet there's a connection between us.